Hi guys, welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron. Instant match reaction. Manchester United won, Everton won at Old Trafford in what was, I think it was a decent performance by Everton. We fought again. We battled until the very last minute. Obviously going 1-0, fired an own goal quite early on in the game. And I think we done quite well to steady the ship after that. We come into our own in the last sort of 10 to 15 minutes of the first half. We done well to keep the ball at times. We done well to defend. And then obviously conceded, within the last 15 minutes. But I think even after that, when Manchester United were pushing, when Manchester United would sign a break and clearly win the game, I think we done well to soak up that pressure and soak up that that threat. And I think, to be honest with you, at the start of the day, if you'd have said to me you're going to go to Old Trafford and you're going to get a point, I'd have taken it. We found out obviously an hour before the game that both Jabril Sidibe and Gylfi Sigurdsson are out with an illness. Obviously Luca Dean hobbling off within the first 25 minutes. So for a team that was wafer thin in terms of who we had available, a midfield three of Alex Iwobi-Bernard and Tom Davies, what looked to be like that at the start of the game, obviously going into a four. Mason Holgate playing central midfield. Listen, Mason Holgate for me today was absolutely outstanding. He was outstanding last week at centre half, and the kid's been put in central midfield, a position where he hasn't played before, a position that's totally new to him, and he's absolutely bossed the midfield. He's absolutely bossed it today. He was absolutely fantastic. Dominic Calvert-Lewin as well, unbelievable once again. The pair of them over the last 2 weeks have just been absolutely immense, and it's that hard workmanship, it's that fight, it's that never give up attitude that obviously is what has got us through against Chelsea last weekend, and what a lot of Evertonians like with Duncan Ferguson's Everton side is there's always going to be that fight, and there's always going to be that urgency, and you've seen it again today. Listen, we were against the team that fighting for the top four. We were against the team that have just come off the back of beating the champions away from home in quite a convincing win. We knew it was never going to be easy, especially going into a game where we've got the likes of Oumar Niasse and Cuco Martina on the bench, because literally everybody else is injured. We had a wafer thin squad there, and we were winning the game for 77 minutes. And yeah, you could say, the goal was poor defending. Yeah, you could say we should have pushed. And I think the most important thing is, or one of the most important things is coming away from this game is 90% of Evertonians are disappointed that we didn't get more out of the game. And when you look at the squad that travelled today, and when you look at the team and the substitutions that he put out, and you look at the injury list that we've got, and you look at where we were 3 weeks ago, being beaten by Norwich at home, absolutely battered by Norwich at home, Sheffield United at home, Aston Villa. You look at where we were just 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, and you look at that result today and that performance, and you think, you know what? That's some improvement, and yet we arguably should have got more out of the game. We definitely deserved the point, and some would argue that we deserve more. Yes, Manchester United might have had more clear-cut opportunities, and they might have pressed higher, but we had chances. We broke forward, and we were sloppy at times going forward, and we could have created an awful lot more. But I think overall, like I said, with the squad that we've got, the team that he set out, and if you'd have said to any Evertonian at the start of the game, Mason Holgate's going to fill in the centre mid, there'd have been a lot of people that would have gone Mason Holgate and Tom Davies in the centre midfield. That worries me a little bit, but I think the pair of them put in a shift today, and Mason Holgate was unbelievable. Like I said, Richarlison done well again. What he lacks in breaking forward and creating opportunities at times, he definitely makes up with his effort and defensively. And we've come away from Old Trafford with a point, and like I said, Duncan Ferguson took over, and he had a tough run of fixtures. He had Chelsea at home, Manchester United away from home, Leicester in the Cup on Wednesday, Arsenal next week as well, and you sort of think, well, we've beat Chelsea at Goodison Park. We've got a decent point against Manchester United at Old Trafford. I firmly believe if we play like that against Arsenal, we'll beat Arsenal. And I think we can put in a good performance against, a Leicester side who we've seen can be exploited defensively. We've seen that yesterday against Norwich, and we've seen that when we played them a couple of weeks ago. But I think the only sort of worrying thing from that performance today is probably the Moise Kean situation. Obviously, Moise Kean coming on with 20 minutes to go, Duncan Ferguson putting him on and then bringing him off literally after 5 or 10 minutes, which for no reason other than what seemed to be that he wasn't performing. Niasse coming on to replace him, and in that situation you are sort of thinking, well, is there an injury? Is there a reason he's coming off? Why is he coming off? Moise Kean walked straight past Duncan Ferguson, didn't even look at him, walked straight down the tunnel, and it is a little bit worrying. Listen, I said on Twitter, I've got no real issue with Duncan Ferguson's put Moise Kean on with a load of instructions, and Moise Kean's just absolutely ignored them all and decided to just say, fuck you, I'm doing what I'm doing, because when he come on, it's a tough one because he didn't really do an awful lot and he didn't get involved. But I do feel for the lad, because what is he expected to do within that 5 or 10 minute spell that he's on? But like I said, it's about the team. It's not about an individual. And Moise Kean's being brought on, and Duncan Ferguson's quickly gone, actually, you know what? I've bollocked that up. I shouldn't have brought him on, so I'm going to take him off. Yeah, it's embarrassing, and yes, Duncan Ferguson now needs to put his arm. You know, he said in the Sky interview afterwards that it wasn't anything personal, it was just the wrong substitution. So now it's Duncan Ferguson's responsibility to put his arm around Moise Keane and say, listen, I apologise about that. You know, probably could have been done in a better way, and maybe I should have realised that before I put you on. Obviously, Niasse coming on didn't make much of a difference, so whether Moise Keane had made much of a difference if he'd have stayed on, obviously, I don't know. It's not like Niasse come on and scored the winning, and you can say, right, shut up, the person who's come on for him has won us the game. You know, whether if he'd left Moise Keane on, it would have made much of a difference, I don't know. But I've got no real issue with Duncan Ferguson, you know, giving instruction to the player not listening, and then that player coming off, because it is about the team at the end of the day. But, you know, we don't know that that's the case. Obviously, that literally could have just been a mistake by Duncan Ferguson, and, you know, it is a little bit embarrassing for Moise Keane, and I do feel for the lad, and it, you know, it isn't looking good for his Everton career going forward. But that's something that Duncan Ferguson's going to have to put his arm around him and assure him that, you know, he apologises and it shouldn't have been done in the way it was done. But, you know, at the end of the day, that's really taking charge in what was a decent Everton performance, and a performance that I think we can hold our heads up high and go, well, you know what, at times there was lacking of quality. You know, Iwobi should have done an awful lot better on the ball 90% of the time he got the ball, but, you know, we fought, we dug deep, and we battled against the Manchester United team whose front three have been on fire over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and we've come away from Old Trafford with a point. And to see, you know, Evertonians on Twitter not really happy with that and wanting a little bit more just shows how far we've come in the 2 weeks. And, you know, if we go to Goodison Park on Wednesday and we beat Leicester in the Cup, and then we get a decent result against Arsenal, you know, if Duncan Ferguson is in charge for all of those games, then I think it's important that we look at the, you know, these last few weeks and we think, you know what, we've been performing at a much higher level. And like I said, the players stepped up again today. Mason Holgate, unbelievable. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, unbelievable. You know, Tom Davies had his spells as well. Michael Oliver, refereeing, was an absolute shambles once again. I don't know why they bother putting a referee at Old Trafford, because they just absolutely give in to the crowd every single week. It's just it's a disgrace. And Sky, you know, Graham Souness, you could as soon as that goal went in, our goal, I absolutely knew Graham Souness was going to claim a foul. It goes straight to half time, and you could see his neck, his veins in his neck are screaming. You know, fucking the whistle isn't even blown for half time, and Souness is saying, oh, it should have been this lad, should have been this lad. Jog on, you're absolute gobshite, you're a knobhead, you're an absolute knobhead. But anyway, listen, a decent performance and a decent result overall for Everton Football Club. Obviously, Everton drawing away from home at Manchester United. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Cheers for watching. See you soon.